Previously, we discovered that Burevestnik is no ordinary missile. It's a nuclear-powered hunter, engineered for endless flight by a pulsed reactor. Its technology isn't just about raw power, it's a radical shift in how weapons stay aloft for hours, almost impossible to detect. Now, imagine this, the engine works through short bursts of thermal pulses, using the very air around it as both a cooler and a source for its fiery thrust. This isn't just science fiction, it turns the atmosphere into its fuel and weaponry. But here's the twist, its speed, around 2 to 3 times the speed of sound, places it in a blind spot for traditional air defenses. Typical radars and satellites are tuned to pick up either lightning-fast hypersonic missiles or ballistic trajectories. Burevestnik slips silently between these cracks, not racing in like a fireball, but stalking like a shadow. By the time it shows up on screens, the moment for reaction has long passed. The engineering marvel doesn't stop there. Its body is forged from specially tempered steel, designed to endure scorching heat and violent shocks. This allows it to fly at altitudes between 25 and 100 meters, lower than commercial airliners typically approach when landing, navigating the most hostile layers of the atmosphere. Picture a missile crossing 20,000 kilometers, dodging every defense system, then silently hovering above a hostile territory, waiting. What makes this terrifying isn't just how far or fast it flies. The core threat lies in its game-changing strategy. Nuclear deterrence once relied on retaliation, detect a launch, respond with force. But Burevestnik needs no launch pad, no silos or aircraft carriers. It can already be in the air, invisible and unstoppable. The concept of early warning crumbles. No warning, no missile trail, yet a strike remains chillingly possible at any moment. Think about it, a weapon permanently present at the borders of influence. Invisible. Autonomous. Powered by a nuclear heart, capable of staying airborne for weeks, triggering paranoia, forcing enemies into costly defenses, sparking panic and strategic blunders. This isn't just armament, it's a weapon of psychological warfare and strategic chaos. Remember the American SLAM project from the 1960s? They tried to build a similar nuclear-powered cruise missile with immense range. But that dream died amid environmental fears and technical nightmares. Now, Russia resurrects this concept with lethal cleverness and refined technology, safer, deadlier, and far more cunning. The West has already taken note. Intelligence reports hint at a shattered strategic balance. Pentagon meetings buzz with talks of next-generation systems, but even theorists admit, intercepting an object flying low, shifting course in real time, is almost impossible. Burevestnik defies old rules. It doesn't follow a predictable arc like a typical ballistic missile, it's a predator, choosing the precise moment to strike. Is it an imminent attack? A mere show of strength? Or an unrelenting threat silently grinding on the edge of conflict? The line blurs. This weapon reshapes global deterrence and fractures trust. Strategic stability, once thought ironclad, is slipping into the unknown. So, what happens when invisible weapons like this become normal? When the sky itself hides silent killers? The game has changed forever, and no one knows what comes next. In the last segment, we explored how this weapon is no longer just a tool of destruction, it lingers on the edge of strategic interests for weeks. It forces opponents into costly mistakes, panic, and political blunders. This is a weapon that sows instability on a global scale. It calls to mind the American SLAM project from the 1960s. Back then, the United States tried to develop a nuclear-powered cruise missile with immense range. But environmental hazards and technical failures doomed the effort. Now, Russia has resurrected this concept, refining it into something far more advanced, cunning, and, according to claims, safer. The West is already feeling the impact. Intelligence reports whisper about a cracked strategic balance, and the Pentagon debates next-generation systems in response. Yet, even on paper, intercepting an object that skims the Earth's surface, capable of altering its course in real time, remains a fantasy. The core threat here overturns all established rules. Unlike a ballistic missile tracing a predictable arc, this missile behaves like a predator, patiently stalking, choosing its moment with ruthless precision. Is it a drill? A show of force? Or the opening move in a new kind of war? The enemy simply cannot tell. This missile operates as psychological warfare, a shadow lurking in the backdrop of global defense systems. Analysts from Stratfor and the National Interest call it a revolution in nuclear deterrence logic. A Bloomberg source within the White House confesses, if Russia has truly achieved combat readiness, this weapon cannot be intercepted, tracked, or ignored. Meanwhile, China's silence speaks volumes. Unlike the United States, Beijing remains publicly mute about the development, but experts suggest China is watching closely, possibly aiming to build its own mirror system. This hints at a bleak future ripe with a race for nuclear endurance, missiles that aren't just threats but become an ever-present specter in daily life. French military expert Quentin Brun sounds the alarm. The rise of a nuclear-powered cruise missile isn't merely a technological milestone, it represents a fundamental shakeup of the fragile global stability painstakingly constructed over decades. The question now is, can the world adapt to this new reality, or is the era of strategic uncertainty about to spiral out of control? In the previous segment, we explored the alarming rise of a groundbreaking weapon with a nuclear power system, fundamentally reshaping the balance of global stability. Military expert Quentin Brun raised concerns, highlighting that this development signifies more than just a technological leap, it's a disruption of decades of carefully constructed global safety. Now, let's delve into the Burevestnik, a cruise missile engineered to evade every known missile defense system. This remarkable weapon can fly dangerously low, targeting vulnerabilities with unparalleled efficiency. So, why does this missile alter the game? First, it boasts near unlimited range, claimed by Russian officials to stay airborne for hours, continuously altering its course and circumventing controlled zones. For NATO, this reality breeds disquiet. Its flight path isn't a conventional ballistic arc but schemes a mere 25 to 100 meters above ground, lower than trees, power lines, and most radar detection ranges. This trajectory challenges the very premise of strategic deterrence. European and American missile defense systems were crafted for different challenges, ballistic missiles and hypersonic threats, not a radioactive specter seamlessly blending into the shadows. The Pentagon has acknowledged this conundrum. In 2020, U.S. Arms Control Representative Marshall Billingsley famously dubbed the Burevestnik a flying Chernobyl, cautioning about potential radiation leaks. Experts privately express concern that existing defense systems lack the means to counter this advanced platform. The most troubling aspect is that despite the West's reputed defensive prowess, they have yet to secure comprehensive radar coverage. This remains particularly true in sensitive areas such as the southern U.S. and the Mexican border. According to the U.S. Government Accountability Office, significant gaps still exist in air defense, with stretches up to 300 kilometers vulnerable. Such openings allow the Burevestnik to penetrate unseen, nullifying reaction time entirely. Military analysts from both Europe and the U.S. are now discussing not just a new threat but a strategic transformation. This weapon operates outside the frameworks of the past, necessitating fresh paradigms of security. One crucial question arises: does the West have an answer? As of now, the silence looms large. The U.S. interceptor fleet comprises only about 240 operational units, including varied models like F-22, F-15, and F-16s. Can these outmatched resources truly defend against an invisible adversary lurking just above the surface? With every passing moment, the stakes grow ever higher. The previous part revealed a staggering new reality. Western air defenses rely on just 240 interceptors, F-22s, F-15s, and F-16s, mostly concentrated at large bases vulnerable to attack. The question hangs in the air: does the West have an answer to this evolving threat? So far, the silence is deafening. Now, listen closely, most of these interceptors aren't spread around the country's perimeter. They're gathered at a handful of major airfields, sites that could become prime targets themselves. Against this backdrop, the Burevestnik, or SKYF, as Western analysts call it, is not merely another missile. It's a completely new breed of strategic weapon. Its mission? To stop war before it ever begins by guaranteeing an unstoppable retaliation. This isn't about launching massive barrages or relying on satellite guidance. The weapon can be activated from anywhere. Anywhere in the country. This autonomy shatters the old ways of thinking about nuclear deterrence. No launch countdowns, no warning sirens. One moment, nothing is happening, and then, suddenly, the threat is already airborne. 5 years ago, this idea seemed pure science fiction. Today, it edges into chilling reality. Diplomats and military strategists negotiate arms control with this shadow looming overhead. The Burevestnik has become a fixed variable in this deadly equation, one no one can ignore. What makes this weapon truly terrifying is its very purpose, not to wage war, but to create fear so absolute that no one dares to start one. The rules have changed forever. No matter what happens next with this technological leap. One fact stands clear, the global military order is shattered, and the landscape of power will never look the same again.